Clock Enders podcast back with another show where we just finished, or we just witnessed Manchester City versus Arsenal at the Etihad in the fourth round of the Emirates FA Cup. Boy, I just don't. I mean, a great game, but I don't like losing to that lot. And it was bad. It was bad the first time. Well, the last time we were there, it was extremely bad. But we played much better today. We played like we normally play. And unfortunately, Edson, I'm gonna have to get on your boy, but we'll get into all of that. So, what did we think today, guys? Honestly, I mean, not like we were talking beforehand. It's not a big deal to lose in the FA Cup to me, anyway. We have bigger fish to fry. But what did we think about what we saw today?
I mean, I think what we know now is who we have to go with now the rest of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, who our core is. And, we can kind of look at the performances sort of up and down the list. And I think there were a lot of, not to say bad performances, but just below the standard. You know what I mean? We talked about standards over the weekend, and I think that there were just some performances that were somewhat below. So you can go ahead and.
Well, we can all agree there was one performance that was probably way below standard. But we'll get into the players after in a little bit.
Right.
Nick, what did you see today?
I have much of the same sentiments as Edson. I saw they were just being really careful in the game. Both teams, really both sides, but what I did like was when Manchester scored, immediately you saw there was some energy with Arsenal, and it almost looked they were firing. I'm thinking if it was their regular 11 out there, and that did happen in the game in the next couple of weeks, I'd see Arsenal probably tying it. So, it was, again, I guess it's hard to get up for a game like that knowing what's at stake, and that's what I felt was happening. Neither team.
But I don't know if it was about getting.
But sorry, say it again.
I don't know if it was about getting up as much as it is about continuity. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's as much about getting up as it is about continuity. Like, we made 6 changes from our lineup that we beat United with over the weekend. They made 1 change, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe it was the goalie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they or if anything, it was maximum like 2 changes. They put out as strong a possible side as they could.
They want to send a
And we
message at
came
home.
with,
They did.
admittedly,
They did.
our B side.
Yeah. They put out that, but not Arsenal. Arsenal's starting 11 was different. I guess the guys that are getting the chance to play is whatever, but I don't know if Arsenal was as into the FA Cup as they normally were here, just because it's been a long time since they've been at this position in the league. And because of that, it's going to be difficult to get up for a game like this. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. Just my thought process here is FA Cup league.
Well, it should be something that certain players should get up for. Guys like Tomiyasu, guys like Fabio Vieira, guys like Tierney.
Right.
Maybe not so much Matt Turner, because we all know who the number 1 is, and he's only going to come in and play in those games. And if Ramsdale ever would get hurt, but it was kind of like it's the next man up type of mentality that if I put in a good show here, maybe I'll get some time in the league. So those guys should definitely have been up for it. As far as Trossard and our 2 wingers, Trossard and Saka, I think one did a little bit better than the other, and you'd be surprised on which one it was, right? So
Trossard?
Yeah, he did. He played very well today, and I think that kind of lit. I know we talked about it last show, Well, I mentioned it last show that, Martinelli has been a little bit off the pace the last couple of games, but when Martinelli came on, you saw a little bit of the, wait a minute, I'm not giving up my spot to this guy.
Yeah, man. Right after that goal, like things just, it almost seemed there was a bit of a better flow and wanting more possession and wanting to attack. And I know you're going to get at Eddie for missing that real nice ball from Shaka, but
not even that.
I'll save it.
Not even that. That one got deflected, so that's why I said he was lucky, because it did get deflected. But
it did.
I mean, I know Haaland probably. You're looking at Manchester City and saying, "Well, what did Haaland do?" If you're gonna rip Eddie, what did Haaland do? Well, Haaland has 25 goals in the league. Right. If Eddie Nketiah has 25 goals in the league, I'll allow you to have a game like that. That's fine. And I know, what have you done for me lately? He played well last game, Edson. I get it. But in this position, there was balls he's misjudging balls going over his head. The close control wasn't there. In these type of games against the big type of teams, you got to show up.
You would hope.
Yeah, he was certainly handled and handed around by the back three. But I will say this. He was not the worst of the forward line today. Absolutely etched out of that game by Nathan Ake, who was not just a goal scorer today, but he was a goal subtractor. he was he ushered Saka into all the right places. He played a masterful game there at their.
Well, I think well, we mentioned it in our chat when we were talking about it. We played a little bit different today. So usually, the right back, which was Ben White, he would be bombing down the right hand side of Saka. So there was always a 2-on-1 with the left back. So Ake didn't have a decision to make today because Tomiyasu was not overlapping. So it was just 1-on-1. He's the starting left back for a great football team. He's a starting left back for his national team. He's not a slouch. So if he thought we have one of the best players in the league in Saka, he was just going to walk by him. That's not correct. So we had to put him in a decision. We had to put him in a position where he would have to make a decision on who to chase. Do I go with him? And we didn't do that today. So it was pretty. I thought it was pretty easy for Ake, in all honesty.
I'm sure there's no such thing as an easy day against Bukayo Saka, but yeah, as easy as they come. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did we think about some of the substitutions he made? I saw Trossard coming off just a little bit after the restart from half, not looking too happy, and I was just hoping that I wasn't going to see any, Ozil, Guendouzi type vibes coming from him. But what did we think about some of the substitutions that he made? Did we need to make those substitutions?
I think that at that point,
that was a garbage substitution. Actually, that was.
Well, I wouldn't say garbage.
Trash substitution.
It was Arteta deciding. I don't know if he was deciding to concede or if he was just saying, let's just give everybody a run here. I can't call it, but would those substitutions be made in a Premier League match? I don't believe that. I refuse to believe it. That's why I just don't think that the team was here for this game. Their mentality is like some of the big teams of the past, in the past 10 years, that have said, you know what, FA Cup is nice, but I mean, our focus is the league, and which I don't have a problem with. If Manchester City wants the glory of this game, just based on all the FA Cups that Arsenal has taken in the past while finishing fourth consistently, I'm okay with it. And that's when I'm seeing these substitutions 3 at a time, 2 at a time, halftime. I'm like, oh, you know what? I get it. And I trust Arteta. When you're doing that, he's like, look, man, am I really going for this game? Maybe if we get lucky, get a goal, sure. And we'll try and maybe close it out. But just his mentality with some of these substitutions said to me, well, I don't believe he was even thinking too much into it. He's got a 5-point spread right now in the league. He's got bigger fish to fry. Oh, did we lose that son?
You there? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of in agreement that of the three competitions that we're left in, agree that this is the one that we could have disposed of. This is the one that we could certainly do without. To win a first European Cup of any kind, I think it has got to be behind. So,
Yeah, we got some black.
I'm okay with how it went. I wouldn't have taken off Trossard just for the simple fact that if you can get him a 90 now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's reasonable. But I mean, look, weren't you encouraged by what you saw? I mean, I was actually pretty encouraged by what I saw from Turner.
Anyways, yeah.
Well, I don't think Turner did anything. I don't think Turner did anything wrong. That goal, I don't even think that goal was a shot on net. I think he was looking for Haaland at the back post. So
yeah, that's why I said I feel pretty encouraged by what I saw from Turner.
Well, I'm encouraged by what I saw from the whole team based on what we said in the beginning of the podcast, that they only made 2 changes to that team that won the league last year, right?
Right.
They only made 2 changes. They had Haaland in for the whole 90. I think the whole 90 anyway. We changed 6 guys. Mm-hmm. We put in Rob Holding, who had a nightmare out there, who always seems to have a nightmare whenever he puts a shift in. I don't know if it's because he doesn't play enough, but I remember the last time he played it was against, it might not have been the last time, but one of the last times he played it was against Tottenham, and he got sent off for constantly fouling Heung-min Son. So for me, that's the only thing I really remember of Rob Holding and him not being able to hold his own against Haaland. Saliba comes in and it's just marshaled right out of the game for the second half. Didn't hear his name once. Right. So,
yep.
We brought in that Edson made a comment
I think that we've seen last. I mean, maybe mop up duty coming in as that guy who's there to clean it up when we're trying to absorb pressure. I think he might come on in that role a little bit, but in terms of last start, Kiwior now is there, and Ben White is good backup at center back on the right hand side, and there aren't enough games for he and Tommy when they're healthy, and frankly, I'd rather trust a right back from the academy to fill in somewhere in the back 4 and have Ben White or Tommy play right center back if we happen to have an injury, rather than to have Rob Holding step in whatever the situation was. That's where I'm at with Holding now. Like I said, coming in to clean up, headers off the line, all that good stuff. Rob Holding all day, no problem. Feel good situation. And I'm not saying to sell him right now. Let him finish the season and get his winner's medal, like the way he deserves to, having been here this entire time, but at this point he should be relegated to mop up duty and cheerleader.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly it.
So we're all in agreement that he's gone next year. He has to be gone next year, right? Or become a coach next year somewhere.
He's going to Mertesacker us, guy. That was
under 17 coach or something like that, right? He's got it. It's over now, right? It's over.
Something like that, yeah.
Must go.
It is what it is.
Must go.
So we talked about the game again. Not too worried about it for me. I just, not wanting to lose to Pep Guardiola and have this whole thing for the next week about Arsenal's not ready yet because they had the real test and they didn't pass it and all this. So we got to hear that for a week. Yeah, that's just part of the reason why I didn't want to lose today. But transfer window closes in about 4 daes, I believe. We had a big rumor hit the presses today about Arsenal, with Caicedo from Brighton.
Yep.
For £60 million, guys. What do we think about this? £60 million for a guy who has half a season in the EPL. for me, I don't know if that's the type of player we need. I told you guys in the chat, if we're gonna spend that money, let's spend it on Ruben Neves. That's the only person I would pay that much money to get.
Well, I mean, he's a great player. Like
I got a theory on
we
this.
wouldn't know that yet. Like from what we've seen, he looks pretty good. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe this could have been another. This could have been another. Here's 60, so that Chelsea will jump in and say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you 80." It could be another situation like that. That's how I look at it. But I mean, at 60, I would have to agree with you, Reg. I mean, probably Neves is what I would love to spend it on. Like, just because he doesn't have much Premier League experience. But I mean, yeah, he's his trajectory says that he's going to be a really good, to great player, you know, and people have taken notice. But I mean, he's under contract. I mean, Brighton holds all the cards, right? So
That's right. That's right.
Whatever. I just wanted to see if Chelsea was going to jump in and up their bid, because their original bid was 55. And then Arsenal jumps like, hey, 60. So I was waiting. I was waiting to hear something from Chelsea, and we still might hear something from Chelsea in the next day or two. Why?
Got a lot of players. I don't know how they're all going to play, but what's your theory, Edson?
You ever seen Brewster's Millions?
Brewster's Millions,
right? Yeah. Where it's like you have a certain amount of money. Yeah, Richard Pryor movie. He's got a certain amount of money to spend before, you know, a certain date, and he's got to spend that, and then he gets a whole bunch of more money. Mm-hmm. I think maybe there's like been some Brewster's Millions like scenario presented to Arteta where it's like, we got to burn through this Mudryk money, you know what I mean, and whatever else we had set aside. Like
Cronky.
I feel like
I'll give it to him in January.
I feel like the Trossard signing was almost like right. I feel like the Trossard signing was almost like it was like he almost was like a little disappointed, like, oh, I didn't get my big shiny toy. I got this bargain, amazing experience toy. You know what I mean? Like Trossard is almost more just. Forget about even the price, based on the experience and the PL experience and just what he brings to the table. I want to Trossard more. So I'd be perfectly happy with our boy Onana from Everton for 72 or 80.
For how much?
Or whatever, you know, Brighton's or Chelsea might bid for Caicedo.
Yeah.
Listen, I know it's not
50 million euros somewhere.
It's shiny.
I thought you said 80. I listen, it's not my money. I get it. I shouldn't be concerned about the money, but when we say that we shouldn't be concerned about the money, part of the reason why Shakhtar Donetsk put 100 million on Mudryk is because guys like Grealish went for that. Antony went for that. Harry Maguire went for close to that. This is why we have to rein it in a little bit. When we're talking about $60 million for a Caicedo, we got to step back and say, well, hang on a second here. You bought the guy for like 4, I believe, or something like that. Now you're selling him for 60, less than a season later.
Right.
What's going on here? If 60 is the price that Brighton puts on him so that people will stay away, then that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But if Arsenal really bid 60 for this guy, I don't know, man. I add another 10 million and get Ruben Neves then, because that was the sticking point before. We didn't want to pay 70. Well, now you're only 10 away. Let's get a proven midfield general on our team.
Like, there's no difference between.
Could not agree more.
To me, like paying like 60 million and 100 million for these two guys, to me it's unreal. Like, really?
It's crazy.
You're going to pay that for inexperience in the Premier League, or 6 months?
Crazy.
Not even 6 months. I want to call it 4 months of experience in the Premier. Not
That's
even.
Right. That's
call
right.
It a break. I want to include the break in there. You know.
That's right.
I love his attitude and the fact that he wants to play for a big club. So I mean, he's there, but I mean, what is Brighton looking for? You know, they're right man's going to pay this.
Well, I think that's what they're doing. They're saying, listen, I'm gonna put a price tag of 200 million on this guy. And then someone comes in and says, okay, I'll give you 200 million. And they're just stuck there like, oh, well, he's not for sale this window. And it doesn't make sense, the prices people are talking about. And it's just teams like City, teams like PSG, Real Madrid, teams like Chelsea now. Again, they're doing it again. They've come back to their normal ways, just overbidding, overpaying for mediocre players that have no proven ability in this league. But they'll get their comeuppance, I guess. So we'll see how that works out. So I know we talked about transfers. We're gonna have a show next week as well where we're gonna talk. Sorry,
they want to make an impression on the supporters. That's what they want to do. It's new ownership, right? So.
Yeah, but you just don't spend to spend. But anyways, it's not my club. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I know we're getting close to the end of the transfer market, and there's probably going to be a flurry of business between different clubs in the league, not just Arsenal. So, what do we? I know we spoke about this a little bit last show. I'll probably go a little bit more into it before we preview the Everton game next week. But I know, Edson, you want Onana, but in all actuality, I don't think any team in the relegation zone is selling any one of their players in this window. So who do we think that we can realistically get?
Loan them Sambi. Loan who,
Sambi? Everton?
Lokanga.
To Everton?
Loan them.
Why would they take him, Edson? Why would they take him? Why would they sell Onana and then take back?
Why would they sell Onana? I don't know.
I don't think they will sell him. I think they'll have to get relegated before they sell him. I heard Sean Dyche took over anyway today. I heard Sean Dyche.
He did.
Yeah?
He might sell the ship a little bit. Let's see.
I saw it said something about he's close to confirming or signing, so it should be good to go. So
okay.
So
realistically, who do we see? Who do you think we could realistically get that doesn't cost over 50 million? I'll give you a budget too, $50 million. Because I don't think
that's I'm gonna go back to the whole Brewster's Millions thing, because I don't know, but we've sat back and saw Arsenal not do business in the past. But I mean, sometimes maybe we should just sort of sit back and reflect on the really good business that they've done in the last several months, from not buying, what's his name, Valkovic? Was it
Vlahovic?
Yeah, not buying him for what was it, like 70, and then paying 52 for Jesus. Like Mudryk, 100 million. Really? We got what? Trossard for 30, Zinchenko for 35 instead of Martinez, who went to like for 60. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm almost seeing a bit of like a pattern when it comes to Arsenal and who they're almost baiting people into getting. So you're telling me another $50 million? Like at this point, just based on how much we saved, I think you're right. I think that someone like Neves for 70 is totally worth it. Although there's no way you're getting him for 70 now, just because of where you are and the fact that they probably know you would take him, like at this point for 70. So you might have to up that to like 80.
Well, if they get relegated, they're going to have to sell him.
Yeah, that's true too.
They're going to have to sell him. Yeah. So are they going to? And it's a gamble right now because they got to roll the dice. They have to sit there and think. Listen,
right?
Are we going to do we think we're going to get relegated? If we do, we got to start selling players now, because if we sell them, if we keep them until the end of the season, we're probably not going to get what we would have got in January.
Nope. So I think you would take that. Maybe they might take 60 now. Just because they know.
Well, this is
they're
what I'm
in a
saying.
Really bad place, but I'm sure in their heads they're thinking, like we'll find a way out of this. I will be. It's like somebody's gonna lead us out of this, right? So
that's a brave decision.
Exactly. So maybe 60, and that's who I'd spend money on. But I'm not going to take somebody on that I know, for as good as he looks, that's just not proven. So it is what it is. And if this is it for the window, I'm also satisfied. So there's that.
Edson, you're satisfied with the window?
Nope. Nope.
He said, nope.
Nope. Nope.
Absolutely not. I
What's wrong? What's wrong?
I did say previously that cover for Gabrielle was as important to me as cover for Thomas Partey. And we've done half of the job now. Because we've done half of the job. And Kiwior it seems like really solid backup. Maybe this game was just a little bit too soon for him, unfortunately. But I think that we can feel secure going forward with him in that position. However, like, we need Partey backup. Sambi,
We've been talking about that though, Edson, for
Hey,
like
Sambi,
several months.
Sambi didn't play.
We went into the season like that, and you know,
Sambi was okay. Sambi was okay, but Partey is so important to us. I mean, the nose for danger on Sambi literally does not exist, as I said in the chat earlier. This guy could not smell a burning building if it was right in front of him. Okay? It was like seeing Grealish just dribble around the box, left, right, grab a man,
right? That makes it hurt a bit more. It's like him, not him. You're not Grealish. Nah.
So
all $100 million of him, right? Was it 100? It was 100, right?
Yeah. 100 million pounds. Wasn't even euros, it was pounds.
Listen, the thing with Sambi is we don't even know what his best position is yet.
Okay? Well, it has to be defensive midfield. It's got to be.
Got to be.
Did it look like it? Does it look like
it? It doesn't look like it. Right?
And when he came to the club, everybody was questioning whether he was a 6 or an 8 or a what. So, like, I think the proof is in the pudding. We still don't know. Okay? We still don't know. And all of his best qualities are 8 qualities, not 6 qualities. You know what I mean? So send him away. See what somebody else's eyes can, or send him away with a directive. Come back and
it's gonna be hard to send him away if there's nobody here that we can replace him with at this point.
Well, can Zinchenko back that up?
Oh yeah, he can. He can.
Zinchenko can back him up, but do you trust Tierney to take that spot?
He can, but when Tierney gets hurt, what do?
Recall Patino is what we do. Okay, recall Patino and make that 40 million signing. Go get Onana, and I close it out there.
So who else do you have to move from the midfield? We were always talking about Partey injury cover for Partey, but why do we have a cover for Xhaka? Why is there no call for a cover for Xhaka?
I think that was because Xhaka go back in the podcast.
That never gets hurt.
Right.
Well, he's 30 years old though, guys.
But he's always on to his credit, he's not red man. He's not red hard walking.
The man's name is Granite. The man's name is Granite.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
he's
well,
not
you can chip granite with a stone chipper, man. So
yeah,
we still need to. I know everybody. I think everyone has it in their mind that Partey's like a injury prone player, but we have to remember that when Partey came from Atletico Madrid, he probably missed in 14 seasons or something or not 14. What he was there for 8 or 9 seasons. He missed 6 games in those years. So he's not really a injury-prone player. But we're looking for a more I guess we're looking for
but they rotated a lot.
Rotated. It's warmer by nature. It's just
yeah. He had a lot of opportunities there because 2 of the guys that are still there are old in Atletico Madrid, and his partner was actually Rodri that played today for Man City. So he's moved on as well. So I mean, if we're gonna look for cover for the midfield, I would be more inclined to look for cover for Xhaka, because again he's older. He might not be able to keep up with the pace. Don't get me wrong, that's my guy. That's my guy.
He's 28. Yeah, you know.
Oh, he's 28. I thought he was closer to 30. My bad.
Yeah, he's all right, fine, 29. But I mean, you're right. I mean, he is valuable, and you can see that right now. You've always backed him, You've always backed him, so I credit you on that. But I mean,
that I used to pray that he would miss games. You know what I mean? And you just
Yeah.
oh, maybe we can get a little breather from Xhaka. That's how I felt about him before, and
Yeah.
it never happened. So that's how I know it's never going to happen now. It literally,
You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. So
that's granted to me. Still, I think I'd have to agree with Ed, like straight up. He's
all right.
He's a rock.
The other thing is Zinchenko there in midfield role, partnered with one or partnered with two. We can see that he can play that midfield role. For goodness sakes, if there's nothing else we've seen from him,
who's that?
Zinchenko.
Yeah, I understand that, but now we're moving guys from the position that they've probably been player of the year in to come filling into the midfield. And again, Nick said the same thing, but then I said injury prone Tierney gets hurt. Then what do we do? What do we do then?
Kiwior is a left-footed
center back. I don't want to move center backs to the island.
Defensive player who can play.
You talking Saliba?
That's
no.
No.
He's talking about the new guy we got.
Oh, the new guy. Fair enough.
Saliba ain't going anywhere.
They call him Kuba or they call him Kiwi. Anyways, Kuba, he should be able to fill in as a plan B, C, D, E, wherever the hell that's like. Kind of throw his hat in the ring as well. And that's a perfect window for me.
That was a nice signing.
So no striker, no winger. Oh, we got our winger, I guess. No striker. We need a defensive partner or defensive signing to cover for Thomas Partey, and then you're good.
Well, what's the thought on
I would also
Gabriel? Is he like March, April?
Who's this?
Jesus.
Marjorie. I wouldn't put too much into that. Great player and everything like that, but season's over in May, I believe, May or June. He's coming back in March. Listen, we have to be firing by that time, and if he's not hitting the ground running, scoring, then we got to play whoever is. And if that's Eddie, then it has to be Eddie. Yeah. So he might have a bit part to play.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Who is that?
If he's scoring, I said. If he's not scoring and missing chances like he missed today and can't control the ball and had no impact on the game whatsoever like he did today, then yeah, you gotta put someone else in. But if he's able to score and provide assists, then you got to keep him in. Unfortunately for Jesus. But who knows what's going to happen?
Unfortunately
for Jesus. Yeah, I said unfortunately for Jesus. Yes, I said it. But again, it's a big if, and it's a big if he can provide what we need him to provide in those games. Those two games against Man City in the league are going to be very telling on who's going to be around towards the end. So that's just my opinion. So I know we have some games coming up. We have one game coming up, Everton game coming up, which is not going to be easy. It's going to be Sean Dyche's first game, and we all know about the new coach bounce. So they're all going to be ready to perform for them. Not to get too in depth into the preview, because we are going to have a preview show during the week. By the way, when does Europa start? It's not this week, is it?
I thought it was in around
February. It's February. February 2nd it starts, doesn't it?
Should I think,
or maybe
the week after.
Maybe the week out. Maybe the week after. Maybe the week after. So I haven't seen I saw what Everton did. They signed they got rid of that Gordon kid. I don't understand what the big fuss about that kid is either. He went to Newcastle for 40. Like, this is what I'm talking about. What's his name? Not Aaron Gordon. Basketball. What's the kid's name? The blonde kid that just hacks everybody when he plays for Everton. last name's Gordon. I can't remember his first name, but anyways, he went for 40
It starts with a
million.
D, doesn't it?
40 million.
Yeah,
This is
didn't he
what I'm
just,
talking about.
Gordon, he signed with someone just sent it to me too.
Newcastle. He's for Newcastle.
But
Let me check.
It's the prices like that for players like that. It's just ridiculous.
Anthony
right?
Gordon.
Anthony
Newcastle.
Gordon. Yeah, Anthony Gordon. Terrible player. Terrible player. He's terrible. 40 million. I don't know, but anyways. So just to give a little a brief, nothing too in depth, because again, like I said, we're doing a preview show for that game later on in the week. But what are we hoping to see from Arsenal? Did we see anything tonight that would suggest that, you know what, I'd like to see that guy get a start in that game?
The only thing I saw tonight is that I don't feel like danger. Like I was like, let's move on. All right, it's a game. They got it. They beat us 1-0.
But do you see anybody? Did anybody
stand out
to you that you would say, you know what, I want him to start? I want him to start.
I don't know about starts, but they definitely could get in the rotation.
Well, I want starts for the next game. It has to start. Then I would want this guy to start next game.
Yep, I got him.
Anybody stick out for you?
Trossard and Tomiyasu. Trossard and Tomiyasu.
So who doesn't play then?
So Ben White is out.
No Ben White and no Martinelli
in. And I don't know about you know what, Martinelli. I don't know yet, man. Like he looked pretty good just jumping into the game just now. So
a week after signing his extension, you're not gonna play him anymore.
Maybe you rest Saka. That's then you rest somebody. You rotate. You rest Saka then. That's the perfect solution. Because
you would take Saka out
of this game, right? So you can just give Saka a breather now.
Well, who do you put on Saka's side again? Sorry.
I think Trossard can play there, right?
Can he?
Absolutely. He's amazing with his left. You saw him get off a wicked shot with his left earlier today.
Yes, that's true.
I actually saw a stat that said he's got more wrong-footed goals than anybody else in the PL. I was like, what?
I'm just, remember Reg was bringing up before, it's just taking somebody out of their player of the year position and putting them into this. I mean, Saka's obviously locked that down, just because he's young and he can take all these minutes. But yes, he absolutely does need some backup. And we tried to get backup for it, right? But didn't work out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So you're saying you want to see Edson. You're saying you want to see Trossard and Tomiyasu start.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the Tomiyasu, especially because he's an actual right back. He's a
That's the only one I'm fine with there. Yeah.
He's a world class World Cup team. He's the right back on his World Cup team. He should be playing right. He should be playing right back.
And listen, it wasn't just Saliba alone on him in the second half on Holland. Tomiyasu did an amazing.
Yeah, he did.
Taking him up from that back.
Yeah,
on that
for sure.
From that
it's
right
like
back.
These guys are disappearing when this dude is on, eh? Like, how many times are we going to see that this month? Like, he's been so good.
Who's that, Saliba?
No. Well, Saliba, yeah, he's just been in general. Now I'm getting used to him. But Tomiyasu, like, he just keeps proving the point. Like, that's my spot. Good luck trying to take it back.
So do you think
good luck.
If you saw Ben White start on Saturday, next Saturday, if you saw him start that game against Everton, would you be a little bit shocked, disappointed? Would you be okay with it? What?
I've always felt like Ben White is kind of ass out a bit. I guess you could say that, just because, again, I really see him in a center back role. I would actually probably see him more up in the defensive midfield, before I put him back on the right. I can't see it anymore. So, and then he's not taking Gabriel and Saliba's spot. So,
well, I think Arteta brought him in.
Rotate those guys.
Arteta brought him in from Brighton, not knowing Saliba was going to be Saliba. So he was already on loan when Arteta came in. So it was out of sight, out of mind type of thing. This is going to be my right back, my right-footed center back, and then Saliba, right?
The emergence, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now, okay, I got to find a place to put this kid because I paid $50 million for him. I'm going to put you on the right. And he's played well. But again, it's not his position. So when he has a shocker like he did last game, you have to take into account that it's not his position. He's not a Premier League right back.
I mean, well, let's not kill. I know you guys love to kill the kid, but Rashford I'm talking about. But I mean, he was up against it. You're facing a guy that's in form.
But that's the game. You have to play who you have to play. You have to play who's on the other team.
Who's in front of you? Yeah, you're right. Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just. I guess you could say I'm almost making excuses for him, kinda. But like he was up against it.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that Ben White as cover at right center back and Ben White as cover at right back, as the one right behind, the guy who's first in the position. I think that's a fair position for him. An emergency defensive midfielder, super substitute coming on to lock down the game. I think that's good for Ben White. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really good. That's where he fits.
That's where he fits, man. I always thought about that defensive midfielder spot. I'm like, why not? Just on a last, 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the game, and you need him. Why not? Give him some time there. He might develop into a great.
Yeah, but you have to see what we have as our defensive midfielders, and we're looking for someone to come in and replace Partey, not replace him, but back him up. And Ben White's nowhere near, and I don't think he's going to put a shift in like Xhaka does in the midfield either. So you're going to get a different type of defensive midfielder if you put him in there, which I don't know if that fits Arteta's, philosophy or game plan. So lots of questions.
Actually, let me ask you a question, Reg.
Yeah.
Is there a way to move Zinchenko into that spot and then have like make the replacement? Like who can replace Tierney? Like who can go in behind? Like is there a way to work? Yeah.
That's it. Right now, that's all we have that can go into that play. Because I think Emery put him at left back, or maybe it was Arteta in the beginning. He put him at left back, and he was right. Overlapping like there was no tomorrow, which was beautiful. But I mean, if you're gonna, I love Tierney, but I think because of the injuries and him not playing, he's lost about 2 steps. Honestly, I honestly think that. So if you're gonna make a bold move, for me, I think maybe selling Tierney and bringing in another left back might be the best move for us right now. And again, I love Tierney. I love the attitude. I love he comes in, you don't hear anything from him from the media, doesn't say anything bad about anybody, just comes in, does his job, and goes home. But I mean, every time now, whenever he has the ball in certain situations, I'm just like, oh, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? And I don't want to be like that. It was never like that before. So I don't know. I don't know if you can move Zinchenko out of the left back spot, put him in the midfield, and then just hope that Tierney comes better. I hope it's just rust and non-playing. That's the reason why he's playing like this. But I mean, at this point of the season, we can't wait to find out, right? So I don't know. So, guys, we've come up to 45 minutes. Yeah. This was only supposed to be 30, right? So, like I said earlier, we're gonna have a preview show for the Everton game. We're also gonna do a preview show for our Europa League clash. Does anybody remember who we play in Europa League?
Man. Dutch team, right? PSV or one
is
of
it? Well, I think we played PSV in the group
round robin, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It's bad. We don't. All 3 of us don't know this, right? But it's been so long, right? I forgot all about Champions League and Europa League.
You know why? Because here's the thing: we're not thinking about it because that game, the week that we're supposed to play in Europa League, they rescheduled the City game.
So we're not playing.
So I don't think they're playing that.
I see.
So they may not be playing until like the following month. Actually, when they've got. See, I'm looking at both. I'm looking at the fixtures for. They only have up until the 23rd, and they're not even on the schedule.
Yeah, that might be the City game that they have to make up. See what happens when you have a mid-season World Cup? Nonsense. Nonsense. So, anyways, well, I guess we won't be doing a preview for that in the next coming weeks, but we'll definitely be previewing and recapping the Manchester City game that we have in hand with them. So, final parting shots. Anybody want to give any final parting shots of what we saw today or what we hope to happen in the transfer window in the next 4 days?
I don't know, dude. Just surprise me, bro. Surprise me. Other than that, I'm like, peace to the FA Cup. Next year. There's always next year.
There's always next year.
You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for a happy ending. Give me the happy ending. All right. That's what I want. Give me the happy ending. Sometimes, you got okay. Well, like finish me off here, guys. Okay, that's what I want. Edu, Arteta, let's go all the way.
And on that note, we'll end the show with that. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. This guy says happy ending.